In a world of morons, three friends must come together to mince movies. Welcome to Morons Make Sense.
Fuck. I forgot that this is a retrospective review.
You got it right. I was the one who fucked it up.
Okay, cool. It was me.
It's Morons Mince Movies
With your host.
Sam Munoz. That's right. I didn't do this the last episode because you fucked me up.
Fucking moron. You saw our last episode for Don't Worry.
Don't worry.
We didn't go back and watch it.
We go back and watch it. The intro too.
Oh, so I'm your host, Moron Sam Munoz, with my fellow morons, Blessed Peñalosa the second, and once again Arturo Starkiller here.
Thank you.
I even had thought of a name for the Don't Worry Darling. I just fucking remember that I had thought of a name.
What was it? I want to hear it.
It was gonna be like something.
Arturo Darling.
Arturo, Don't
Chambers?
Worry Darling, Harry Styles, something or other. It's gonna be like
lot of middle
it's
names.
gonna be like a really long name.
So glad you forgot it because that sucks.
Fuck off. All right.
Clearly, we're having a great time. We hope you're having a great time.
Yes, and we're drinking some great beer. I'm drinking Pliny the Elder, which is like it's really
Top
fucking
notch.
good. Yes,
Which
top
Sam
notch.
decided to be share. Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, because it's so hard.
I
to
didn't get
this,
any.
so.
I don't even know what that tastes
Well,
like.
because
So
he's
thanks
a white
lot,
guy
man.
with the claw again. You were drinking some good beer in the last episode, and now you're back to this shit.
I'm giving you my good beer. That's why I'm drinking this, because I decided
And-
I would rather you two enjoy this amazing beer that is Pliny the Elder
Well,
than
thank
me
you,
having
Uble.
some.
I do
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank you,
and
Arturo.
Thank
you.
And would you like to thank the ones who
People
made it
at
possible?
Vendom. No,
Vendom,
specifically Michael Grace, because he's the one that made this all possible. You guys don't know him. I know him.
You haven't introduced this.
No, I know. I'll introduce you guys next time we hang out. He is the one that supplied the beer, actually.
Yes.
So, Michael, thank you very much,
Yes.
my friend. But he
Shop-
does
Shop
work
at Vendom, where you can drink beer with grace.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, Michael. You patent that.
Hire me.
Patent that. It's copyrighted
job.
by us, so if you're gonna use
really
it, you
struggling.
need to pay us. Yeah,
That's why I'm
but
doing
it's
this
a,
shit,
It's a
honestly.
great beer. Anyone that hasn't had it, Pliny the Elder, you can't find it anywhere else. You
Except
can
at
find it at
Vendom.
Vendom High liquor store in Yorba Linda, Alpha, Florida.
Where the beer sells with grace. That's good. Okay, anyways, let's get to... So, this is part 2 of our Patreon-sponsored
Star
shows.
Wars.
Yes, we are doing episode 2 of our Moron Trilogy, and we're going to talk about the Prequel Trilogy. Yes. By the way, producer, I loved how... You kind of like put in the music, the scoring as well. Oh, such beautiful.
Yeah. Don't do that this time.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't do it. Make us sound bad.
Shit up. Yeah. But yes,
So-
we're doing the prequels.
Yes. If you haven't seen the first episode, go and watch it. We did the original Star Wars
You'll find a
trilogy.
link here.
Yes, somewhere here. Yeah.
All over
yeah.
my face.
Yeah. Ooh,
All over my face.
yeah. All over his face. In and around his face. And so we're gonna do the prequel trilogy. Let's get it going,
man.
because we gotta get to 3 more movies, and we gotta do it.
I got a fucking
And
tea time.
Sam and I actually took notes. Uble says they're all mental, but we took
all my
actual
notes are up here, man. That's
Yes.
where I keep
Let me
my
bring
notes.
Let me bring out my notes. So let's. I want to start off with this.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The year was
God, you just burped into
1999.
my face, man.
I want to start off with this because I want to know where you guys how did
Don't look
you
at my
first consume the prequels, because when I remember this was a huge
Yeah.
deal.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Huge deal.
my God.
I mean, there hadn't been a Star Wars movie in like 2 decades,
Yeah.
right? You only had the original trilogy, and there had been talks for a while that George Lucas wanted to do prequels, and he had been talking about it, and it was in, and so on. And you finally got the news that he was actually going to do it. He was writing the scripts and everything like that. And we have a new Star Wars movie. Do you guys remember what it was like?
Yeah, I mean,
do.
I specifically remember because I was 10. I was in 4th grade, and I remember my buddy in elementary school, Andy Croco. If you're listening, I haven't spoken to you in decades, but if you're listening, he was like my Star Wars homie. He was always obsessed, and like I knew it well enough. I watched it, of course, on VHS.
Yeah.
I remember when the
Yeah.
bad guy was the good guy's dad, and my mind was blown.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. So he was always talking about it, and I remember asking my parents if we could go see it in theater. So sure enough, went to the newspaper, looked up the times, and
The newspaper.
I love that.
yeah.
I used to cut them out.
Me too. Me too, man. Edwards 8 over off of MacArthur.
Yeah,
Used
I
to
went to
call
the Century Theaters in Orange, but yes.
Oh,
yes,
shit,
yes.
yeah.
We've talked about this. Anyways,
Yes, we have.
continue.
I mean, yeah, this is great. But I mean, that was this era. You know, you didn't look it up online or anything like that.
Yep.
And this was the first film I experienced in theaters. And as a 10-year-old, like, fuck, dude, this blew my fucking mind in so many ways.
I was older than you. I didn't know. I thought we were the same age, but I was older than you.
I'm 33.
Really? Oh fuck! God
we're
damn!
fucking old. You're old,
I was,
Sam.
I'm used to
I
being
was
the oldest.
4 or
though.
5 years older. 5 years older than you. So
I'm
I was-
24 years old, as many of you I'm sure have noticed. So what's
So I think I was 15 or maybe 4. I don't know if I've turned because it came out in May, I believe. So
It
yeah, I
did.
was
Yeah,
14.
It came out in 1999. So
Yeah, yeah.
May,
So 14. I hadn't turned
like
15
mid-May.
yet.
Because I remember it was a couple weeks after my birthday.
So I
Yeah.
remember huge lines. I remember it was a big event. We went to see it
People
first
were camping out.
Yeah, the first
Yes,
weekend. I saw it
yes.
the first weekend with some friends. And my original thoughts of this movie was that I enjoyed it when I originally saw this movie. I have a different thought now as an older person, now having rewatched it a few times now.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first watched it, I thought this was cool. You know, I love the pod racing scenes. I still think that's
Now
actually
this
very
is
good.
pod
Yeah.
racing.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know,
It's very Star Wars.
The lightsaber fights was fucking
yes.
something completely new that we hadn't seen before. So I actually thought this movie was good when I first watched it. But you know,
I challenged that. I challenged
okay.
that because
Oh, did you not like it your first time around?
no, it's not that I didn't like it. So I remember one of my science teachers in Saddleback had the iconic poster of a young Anakin standing
with
on
Vader
Tatooine.
as the
and you get
with
the
shadow.
Vader's shadow
Vader as a shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember that was my first time that I was like, wait. This fucking kid is
And
Darth
so
Vader.
You had it you had it spoiled
I had
for you
seen them. I had seen. Well, I mean,
in a way.
Did you not know? You had seen the original trilogy
I had
by
seen
then,
the
right?
original trilogy, and I didn't. This was before the internet, so you know you didn't know much about trailers. You didn't know much about, or at least accessible internet. You didn't know a lot about the behind the scenes things, or hey, this movie's coming out and it's gonna be about this person's backstory. I didn't know any of that. I knew there was a new Star Wars movie coming out, and this teacher had a poster before it aired. So when I first saw his poster, that was the first time that I was like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna be a story about a young Darth Vader. Fucking awesome!" And then we watched it, and I remember thinking to myself, my initial thoughts for the first 2/3 of this movie was, "This is fucking boring ass shit."
Wow.
They're talking. I look. I know it's blasphemy. It's not what
It's
I
not
think
blasphemy.
No,
it's not what I feel now, but what I'm saying is back then,
Yeah.
there was a lot of fucking talk about the
trade
Senate
routes and
tax
politics
routes,
and
Yep,
blockades
taxations and
is this legal and you're blockading my tax representation and I was like, okay,
Like-
fucking get to the part where you fight with laser swords,
Well,
please.
There's a lot of action in this movie, though.
No,
like,
I mean,
I don't
there
see how
is.
you were bored because
No,
the pod
I'm not
races
saying I was
happen like early
not
in the movie.
saying, not even early in the movie,
It's
dude.
about midway through. Yeah.
Exactly. So it starts off with
There's a fight at the beginning. The fucking Jedi's come,
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
what I'm
supposed
trying-
to negotiate and whatnot.
that's what I'm trying to say.
And then-
Look, this movie.
Oh, versus the
now-
droids, and that was fucking cool.
Listen, this fucking movie. Now that I'm older and I see that when I was younger, I saw that opening scene and I was like, cool. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't
Yeah.
know who these characters are. I know Obi-Wan is the young Obi-Wan, but I don't know who this other person is. Do I need to know them? I was
Ra's al Ghul.
confused. But now that I'm older, I have to fucking say, fucking Liam Neeson as for the role of Qui-Gon
Oscar
is
Schindler.
fucking it's like it's fucking Liam Neeson
Yeah.
to quote Key and Peele, fucking Liam Neeson as a fucking Jedi, like that shit's fucking peak. So I can appreciate that now.
And this
when
was
I was
arguably his movie. Like, I mean, that, I mean, I want to get to it a little later, but like this film does suffer a bit from the fact of having a lack of a clear main character. But if you were to argue, it'd be Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
I guess he's.
So let's start off with that, with the cast. What did you think of the casting? Do you think that Ewan McGregor did a good job as a young Obi-Wan?
From the
He
get-go.
did fine. I mean,
Fine?
He did fine.
You're a bad person. You're just a bad person for
Here's the thing.
describing Ewan McGregor
This
as
movie
Obi-Wan
is
as
very
fine.
badly written. I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah,
it's
the
very
writing.
badly written. The dialogue is
I'm with you,
so stale and wooden. I feel like George Lucas was telling these actors like, do wooden, like be a wooden actor. Like, yes, that's it. That's how you want. That's
Too much emotion.
Too much emotion.
Bring
Stop
it down.
Yeah. Like be
Bring it
as
down.
wooden as possible.
Yep.
Because that's exactly how everybody acts in this movie.
Man, I cannot get past fucking Queen
it's
Amidala.
Even
The
Natalie
Trade
Portman,
Federation
an
is not
Oscar-
going to support us.
Oscar-winning fucking actress. Liam
No.
Neeson is a great
That
actor.
was
These are
on
all
purpose.
great actors, but
Yeah.
they're all like acting badly on purpose. It seems.
Liam
like,
Neeson agreed to this role before reading the script. Did you know that?
It's Star Wars. I mean, why wouldn't
Star
you agree
Wars,
with
but
it?
it's-
It's like, you
it's
want me to
Liam
be in a Star
Neeson.
Wars movie? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. I don't give a shit how bad it's gonna be.
The
I'm
first
gonna-
time we're coming back.
Trash guy number 3? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
But it's and this is something that I didn't realize when I was 14 years old how badly it is. And the kid is awful.
come on,
He's
man.
also a kid, though.
I don't
Add
care.
to-
I have
no,
seen
no.
when you have seen Dakota Fanning do
Every
I Am
Skywalker is
Sam.
whiny.
No.
Yes.
He is
No.
awful.
pretty bad.
Absolutely awful.
But that also works into it. Like, he's a
awful.
10-year-old being a
I'm not even
10-year-old.
Listen,
Like,
listen. I'm not even trying to justify it as like, oh, that's what it's meant to be, and he's supposed to be awkward.
is
and
that
he's
how?
supposed
Wait, stop. Is that how that kid looks now?
Yes, that's what he
Skywalker?
looks like.
Can you
Listen.
bring that up?
But listen
Oh
to the
my
full story,
God.
man. I feel bad for this guy, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like he used to get bullied in school because
Really?
of this role.
Because
Yeah.
he was the
This
kid
role
who
legit-
ruined Star Wars.
legit ruined his life. Do you know how fucking horrible Star Wars fans are?
Yeah, they are.
Like
They're
Star
bad.
Wars fans.
No one
me
hates
being
Star Wars
one-
more than Star Wars fans.
Me being a Star Wars fan can acknowledge that the worst fucking people are other Star Wars fans because they take this shit way too fucking seriously. Like, I acknowledge it's a fucking movie, and if the writing is bad or the acting is bad or the movie is bad, I'm not gonna fucking hate on the actors that did it. Maybe I'll hit on the writers.
Here's the thing. This kid is just a bad actor because he's also in Turbo Man. I don't know if you got it. I mean, I'm sorry.
Turbo Man.
I'm
He was
sorry.
good in Turbo Man.
Not Turbo Man. It's not called Jingle All the Way. The holiday.
That's right, Jingle All the Way.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was
classic.
the action
Jingle All the
figure.
Way.
Jingle All the Way, man. He's fucking great in Jingle All the Way.
No, he's not. He's fucking terrible.
Yes, he is.
He's awful. He
No.
is just an awful actor. He's
He's
an
not.
awful. There's a reason
Wow,
why his
man.
career never took off.
I'm sorry. How many movies have you been in, Sam?
That
How
doesn't
many,
matter.
how many
That
fucking
still doesn't take
Oscar-winning
away-
movies have you been in?
That
Please
still doesn't
tell
take
me.
away. That's fine. I can be an awful actor too. That still doesn't
You
take
are
away
an
that he
awful
is an
actor.
awful actor.
But he got the movies, bro, and you didn't. So
That's true. But I mean, he made some money off of that at least. But he was awful.
I didn't know
Well,
Natalie
let me-
Portman was so young when she took this movie on.
No.
Like she missed the premiere to make it to her high school
Graduation or some shit.
graduation or
Can we talk?
exams.
Can we talk about this relationship? Well, as you know, Anakin ends up growing up and marrying Padme, who's
Yes.
played by Natalie.
There's a
Portman.
5-year difference.
But there is there really? Because
Yeah,
he's
to
9,
me,
she's 14.
it seems like when did they say that? Because
That's
looks
the problem.
It's
she looks
it's
like she's
established
in her
in
late
lore.
Where?
She does not look like 20s in the first movie.
no, late
No.
teens. I said late
Oh,
teens.
okay. I was
Yeah.
Late
fuck,
teens.
dude.
Yeah.
I was like thinking there's like an 8 to 10 year gap
No,
here,
it's in,
and she
it's
is
in
totally
all the
grooming him.
accompanying novels,
I
which I
understand.
read.
I
Yeah.
don't understand why there's not enough controversy in it because she is totally
She's
grooming
not
him.
grooming him at all.
No,
dude. In the
This is
first
like
movie,
total
it's
pedophile.
no, it's not. It's very clear she's not into him in the first movie.
Oh, sure.
She's not. And in the second movie, he basically seduces her.
No,
Yes, how-
But then you
are
also
you an
spend all this
angel?
time like tossing around in grass, and you're both attractive.
who could forget that very seductive? I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets all over.
You mean that's never worked for you?
like that? That would make me so like, oh yeah, I'm on to you right now, man. And then the part where he kills the men, women, and children.
Wait. That's
Hold
the second.
on.
That's the
Hold
other
on.
episode.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Going back to the film.
Stick with the first one.
Clearly, it's he has a crush on her, and there's a 5-year difference. There's nothing in this film that's romantic about
this
them
movie
yet.
doesn't. Yeah,
no,
this movie doesn't
you
creep
can't.
on
She
that
is totally
weirdness
grooming
yet.
him.
No, she's fucking.
She's
not,
basically
dude.
Michael Jackson. That's what I'm saying right
Damn,
here. That's
dude,
what I'm
that's
saying.
a fucking leap,
That's
man.
what I'm saying.
Back to
Jesus
the actual
Christ.
movie.
No,
Back to the actual fucking movie.
I justify it because as a queen, she's sheltered. She's protected from all the
There was
outside
nothing
world.
romantic
she
in the
has-
first film.
There wasn't nothing in the first
At
film
all.
So I'm willing
So let's
to
move
wait,
on.
let's move on to the second film to talk about
No,
that.
no,
but-
wait.
No. I'm
No,
saying
there's so much about the
let's
first
save
film we
that.
haven't even
we
talked
haven't
about
even-
yet.
I'm saying
Yes.
Right
let's
now,
save
Nola,
that for the-
producer, is showing off one of the most epic lightsaber
That's
battles.
what I wanted to get to.
Yes,
fucking get to that shit.
Before that, I do
God
wanna, before that, because that's towards the end. I want to
Yeah.
get to
Okay,
that.
okay.
So I do want to
Stop
say,
that, Noel.
I do want to say, like the visuals in the movie for their time were actually kind of groundbreaking.
No, they were.
There was this.
Yeah.
This movie was one of the first movies that used a lot of green screen. I don't know if you know, but many movies today are made.
This
like,
is green screen.
Like there's,
No.
but this was one of the first movies where like green screen was so prevalent, and now when you look back at it seems a little dated because the green screen technology wasn't as good as it is
You can
today.
pick up on it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can pick it up on it. But
Definitely,
I mean,
man.
like, there's so much visual effects in this movie that was kind of groundbreaking for its time. So I do want to bring that up. And also, I do want to say that the pod racing scene is still exciting today. Like, I rewatched this movie and I still think that's very well
Portrayed?
filmed, very well filmed. Whether most of it is CGI or not, it's just well done in that stuff. So I do want to talk. I want to make sure I bring that up. But I also want to bring up before we get into the lightsabers, because I have in my notes. Does anybody fucking want to say anything about how Anakin is basically talked about as basically being Jesus, and that the Force,
chosen one.
the Force impregnates his mother.
That part was
and
weird.
And she is basically
Yeah.
Mary. She is Mary with the fucking, like the immaculate conception of
Yeah.
fucking Anakin.
The
And, because she
Midichlorians.
says like, oh, there was no father.
Midichlorians got all up in her.
Yeah, when I first watched this, and I was like, "What do you mean there's no father?" And I was like totally confused for a long time,
Yeah.
as to what the hell. Like,
what does she mean
was
by
the
that?
father just not there? Was
Yeah.
like, did she just have like an affair?
That's how-
But then
Yeah.
I came to find out, like, no, the Force impregnates her.
Yep.
And then-
He's the chosen one,
And
dude.
she's just cool about
and
it. She's
Anakin
like,
is
yeah,
Jesus.
that's just the way it happens.
Anakin
yeah.
is Jesus. It's
Yeah,
it's
that
fucking crazy.
was
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
weird, man.
As a kid, I took it the same way. Oh, he's just not there. And then like much later, I'm all like, huh?
Did they mean she was impregnated by the Force?
Again,
Yeah.
this is a sci-fi universe we don't completely understand.
Here we go with the
They've-
excuse.
they've
No,
done
actually,
enough.
Even the way
here's
I
the
said
thing.
it, like-
I actually kind of like that. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I actually like that. I really like that, and I think it builds to why Anakin is so important and why the Disney sequels kind of fucked that up. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the next
but
episode.
I like that. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that Anakin is like fucking Jesus in some weird kind of cool way.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to bring up about this whole thing is like they're slaves, by the way, and they are the best treated slaves I've ever known in my life. Like they get to run
They get
fucking
their own
pod
house.
races.
Yeah.
They get like
They get their own living
house.
space.
I mean, yeah.
Way to defend slavery on this episode, Sam. I'm sure it'll go down.
In Tatooine, slavery seems to be a cool gig. I don't know.
There
what
you go.
guys-
You heard it here first, everyone. Sam thinks that slavery and Tatooine is pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to say it is. I mean, it's so cool that they're willing to just abandon his mother and be like, she'll be fine.
Yeah.
she'll be fine as a slave.
I-
I'm gonna go be a Jedi. I'll leave my mom. She'll be fine.
So I will say things that I liked about this movie
Yeah.
is seeing
That's
the
basically
relation-
my list. It's just things I liked.
seeing the relationship between Qui-Gon and
Yes,
and
that's
Obi-Wan.
huge. Especially because
that's so fucking huge for
I
me,
mean,
man.
that alone with the characters' chemistry and everything and seeing it, but that was the first time in Star Wars that we actually
Yep.
got to see that
Jedis,
relationship
yeah.
between a
I
master
agree
and
with
a
you.
Padawan.
I thought it was
and they
fucking great.
fucking nailed it.
Qui-Gon as a Jedi, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you gave me a 10-episode series of
Qui-Gon?
young Qui-Gon and how he went against the Jedi fucking council and was his own Jedi, like I don't give a shit. I'm gonna mix the right and the wrong. I would fucking watch that 15 times. So I like that part of it.
Fuck yeah.
something I didn't like.
Can we get
Go
to the elephant in the room?
What?
This is-
I have like
which
a
is-
list of things I love.
Yes, I think-
What
one?
elephant?
Which is Jar Jar Binks.
Fucking thank you, Sam. That's where I was fucking headed with this. I wanted to build up the positive, which was Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
I have so many
Before I
positives.
brought it up-
We haven't touched any of them.
We'll get to your positives, Arturo.
We'll get to your
Jesus.
positives.
But we gotta talk
fucking
about the Jamaican frog guy.
Jar Jar.
Yeah, there's no
Jar
defending
Jar
that.
Binks, man. I had this game while I was watching this movie recently where every time Jar Jar Binks said, "How would,"
Oh, so annoying.
I would do this thing where
Take
I
a
would
shot?
similar. I would stop the movie, down a bottle of tequila, cry,
Holy shit!
cry for 2 hours,
God damn.
curse at George Lucas,
How long
and then
was
replay
this
the movie.
for?
It took me a few days to watch this movie because he fucking stopped saying that. How would shut the fuck up, you
So
fucking
annoying.
dinosaur Jamaican rabbit.
He's an
fucking
amphibian
frog.
Human.
I
Something
I
weird
didn't
thing.
like it, man. it sucks for the actor that portrayed him. I know I'm sure he did his
went
best.
through some shit, dude.
I'm sure of
Total
it, man.
total Jamaican derivative type of thing going on here.
If it's possible to say he was
his ears
great
are like
at
the
portraying
dreads,
it,
basically.
yeah. If it was
it's,
possible to say that the actor did a great job of portraying what he was told to portray,
yeah.
but the thing that he was told to portray was fucking a shit
Have you
turd.
guys ever seen like the conspiracy videos that George meant to make him like a secret Sith Lord this whole time, and that's why he presented himself as a bumbling buffoon?
That would have been
What
that
the
would have been
fuck?
awesome,
There-
but
there's-
that's a bit
there's
of a
a video,
stretch.
I'll try to find it and send it to you. But like, there's scenes where he is mouthing in the background, but there's no audio. So it's like, wait, is he the one actually like?
Orchestrated.
That would have
Okay.
been great if in
And
the
then-
Disney movies he came out to be like the villain. Like, oh, Misa
Well, I mean,
gonna kill all of you.
Because then there's the
Misa.
argument that, well, right? I mean, okay, but I mean, there's also additional scenes where he's moving his hands as people are talking. Mine, the whole.
what
mind
the
generator.
fuck?
But then, the
That's a
fact that
stretch.
he basically tells Padme to line up the events to get Palpatine in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting conspiracy theory, and who
So
knows
it's
if
been
that was
Jar
the original
Jar all
plan,
along.
Cool.
and we just bullied the
Dun,
shit out of
dun.
everything. I don't know.
If the sequels
But-
would have turned out that Jar Jar was like
That
the
would have been
fucking
fucking
grand,
cool.
he already had yellow eyes.
would have been a lot better than what they did. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, going back to
wait.
positives.
Go give us your damn
Okay.
list of positives.
Okay,
I see.
well, I mean,
yeah,
just
you
Jar
have
Jar's
a long fucking
species
essay.
gave us an underworld city, an underworld world. It was something underwater that we hadn't seen before.
Visuals were good. Yes.
Well, it was
Yeah.
cool. The
Yeah.
sound design was fucking back and amazing as it always was.
Yeah.
We already
Yeah.
touched upon Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
respectively.
Yeah.
R2-D2's intro. Like the
Oh,
fact
that
that
was
he's
pretty
this
cool.
little
I did
badass
like that.
astromech.
I did like his intro.
That was cool.
Yeah.
that was cool.
It
Yeah,
holds
yeah.
up. Yeah.
And we talked about pod racing already.
Yeah,
Fairly
pod
badass. It's
racing,
very,
yeah.
very
Badass.
Star Wars.
What do you
dude.
think about C-3PO's intro? Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's a good one, and I liked how we find out it was actually Anakin's.
Yeah.
this whole time.
You like that?
I was-
Again,
I was
this
like,
guy
alright.
gets to build his own robots.
slave.
As a slave, he
The
just has
slave
all
child
his freedom. I want to
the
be a slave in
luxury.
Tatooine. Fuck it. Like
You wouldn't survive.
I get
Sam.
fed. I have a job. I mean, a house.
Jabba the Hutt would have his way with you. You would not survive.
I
my
feel
friend.
like the free people in Tatooine have it worse than the slaves. I mean, fuck.
That's true,
Anyways,
huh?
continue.
I thought it was really interesting that from the get-go we see how cocky the Jedi are, which ultimately leads to the downfall. Like we had these rumors of
That's
like a
interesting.
Sith. And they're like, oh, well, they haven't existed in centuries.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, that's what fucking led to this shit.
Can I say something? You
Yeah.
reminded me of something. I really hated the fact that they replaced the Yoda in the original film because I rewatched this on Disney Plus,
Yeah.
and they
with-
replaced it with the CGI Yoda. And in the original version of
was a
this,
puppet.
It's a little
there-
puppet.
It's a puppet,
Yeah.
and that puppet looks terrible. By the way,
Yeah.
like I don't know what the
That
fuck was
happened
going
years ago.
on.
That was not a Disney
It's like they
Plus
made
thing.
him older, made
Yeah.
him look older than he was in fucking Empire Strikes Back. If you can bring up Noel, the puppet behind me at some
The puppet
point,
of episode
Let's
1.
see, let's
and
see if
then
you did
and
it.
then bring up the puppet from Empire Strikes Back. I swear, I don't know what the fuck. Look at him! Look at my fucking A!
Oh, shit.
It's like a gremlin. What the
Yeah.
fuck did they do? Like,
gremlin
why
on
didn't they
crack.
just use the original puppet from Empire Strikes Back? Why did they make him into a gremlin?
I have no
that,
answer,
You know,
man.
it's like fucking had the
You don't-
8 after
you
midnight.
don't know how Yoda's age, man. You don't know.
He got younger as he aged.
That's how they
Benjamin
age.
Button. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know his species.
He's got Benjamin Button
I'm sorry. I
disease.
need to say that.
No,
But
no,
anyways,
it's good. Well, that
continue.
transitions into my next thing was Yoda's quote. The whole fear leads to anger.
Say
Anger
it
leads
in
to
the
hate.
Yoda voice. Say it in the
Hate
Yoda
leads to
voice.
No.
Come on.
I can't go that high.
Never mind. Stop. Don't do that. Please stop.
No, I mean just that line, like what it literally like details Anakin's downfall, into Vader and
Yeah.
everything he goes through.
Yeah.
But I mean, my biggest thing, and I feel like a lot of people's biggest takeaway. I mean, not everyone's, but Darth fucking Maul.
Dude, that's
Yes.
Everything associated with
Yeah.
him, Duel of the Fates, the
Yep.
double lightsabers, the look,
That
everything.
fight.
Darth
That
Maul
fucking
was
battle, man.
one of the best villains that was created. And
Yep.
it's unfortunate they fucking kill him off.
That's
Or
that's
do
my
they?
biggest- That's my
Nah,
biggest complaint.
this is-
I mean, well, yeah, he gets.
Sam is going based off of only the movies. He has not seen Clone Wars.
No,
which we
I
will
don't,
get
I don't
into
know.
later.
I really hated. I haven't seen Clone Wars. I saw Solo and I hated that he came
yeah,
out at the end.
I have a list of
Like,
episodes
how
for
the
you to
fuck
watch.
is he still
Yes,
alive?
that's
No,
a great list.
I have a list for you to watch.
Arturo has a great list of episodes.
I've watched all of Clone Wars twice, and I've gone through and made a list, and I give you only the essential episodes. Am I yelling? Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying shush.
I was gonna say let's get into that when we talk about the Clone Wars movies because
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Okay.
Oh my
Wait,
god,
wait,
we're still
before-
only discussing the first film.
Let's end Phantom Menace with this. The
Darth
lightsaber
Maul was amazing.
Because
Yes,
Darth Maul
yes,
is good.
yes.
That brings into the lightsaber battle, which I think is one of the highlights of the movie.
Yep.
And I think was like it's yeah, and the score there, the score there.
Duel of the Fates.
Yes.
Okay,
Duel
so
of the
Imperial
Fates.
March makes my boy super calm, and when I
Yeah.
do Duel of Fates, his eyes just go.
He's ready
It's-
for the attack.
It's great. The lightsaber battle is fucking fantastic,
Ugh,
and I don't think it's. I honestly don't think it's been topped because after that, it was a good and a bad because I feel like after that,
Arguable.
every lightsaber
Arguable.
battle needed to be like stylistic that way.
No.
Like they couldn't do.
I mean, I will say it was
I
really
care-
cool
what's-
seeing
what's another-
stylistic fights now.
No,
like,
it's cool that they did it then, but it's like everything had to be just like that now.
I have to argue Mustafar, dude.
What?
Mustafar.
That's super stylistic. It's like we'll get to that one, I guess. So,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
whatever. Okay.
Yes, Darth Maul is
for sure-
amazing.
for sure it's
I'm gonna
better
get him
than-
tattooed on me at some point.
Okay, let's get into the next movie, Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
Which is the movie that I remember the least.
And that's the movie that I recently was watching, and it just reminded me of how fucking difficult the dialogue was, specifically in this movie, more than in
I will
Revenge
say
of the
that's
Sith.
not Lucas's strength.
I just
Right now.
remember
and he's admitted to it
it's-
too. But it's like then
Yeah.
hire someone who can write better dialogue.
Yeah,
Like, all you
the
needed to
love
do is-
scenes are
Awkward.
awful.
And
Who
I get
didn't-
it.
okay,
I
okay,
get it.
who-
I get it.
Why
I get
are you
it.
trying
I get
to
it.
defend this?
No,
Because
no.
we've all had awkward romances like that.
Right.
No.
So listen, Sam.
No, our producer
if it
is
helps-
shaking his head hard. Thank you, Noel.
Sam. If it helps, you have to remember that Anakin Skywalker.
He's 19. She's
has
24.
Not, she's
they're
19.
She's been
How
grooming
much-
him
how
since he
much-
was 10
no.
years old. I understand.
How much interaction has Anakin had with women?
See, that's the whole
or
thing. That's one of my
girls
notes.
at
See,
this
he
age?
has no idea how to control his emotions. He's been told to suppress them this whole fucking time. And
Yeah.
the fact that Obi-Wan berates him in fucking public.
All right,
only, like,
easy, man.
keeps-
Don't fucking cuss at me. Let's just chill.
Well, I never cursed it.
Don't apologize. It's okay. It's okay. You
Take
just
it.
I'm
fucking
such a
take
nice
it.
guy.
I get it. I
No,
get
no,
it.
fuck that. You know. No, I mean this all leads into his character. Like it's all a bunch of emotions. He's never been told how to actually use them.
Exactly.
It's always just been suppressing. Obi-Wan is not the ideal master. You can argue that if Qui-Gon actually had been his master, we would have avoided Darth Vader.
Yes.
And he would have brought
that's-
balance to the Force.
Yep. And that's why I believe that the Sith actually did come out victorious at the end of Phantom Menace because they did the one thing that they needed to do to ensure their victory, which was they killed the one Jedi that would have
Qui-Gon.
been able to steer Anakin in the right direction.
And he was the he was the only Jedi that actually questioned things.
Yeah,
And that's the
yeah.
thing that we get into it more is how like the Jedi Order failed Anakin.
Yep.
You know, that's what
That's what it
basically
comes
is
down to.
yeah, between these three
Yeah,
films.
it
It
did.
really fucking
It
does.
did.
Arturo, you're like you're building something in me. Something's building. Something's building. Continue.
His
continue.
lightsaber is lighting up.
My
with what
lightsaber
you're
is lighting
saying,
up.
man. Yeah, no, absolutely. It shows that, and then part 2.
Sorry, this is Noel's playing a scene, and it's what is the actor's name? That Christian something?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee as
No,
Dooku.
no.
Amazing.
The guy who plays Anakin. The guy who plays Anakin.
Hayden
Hayden
Christensen.
Christensen.
Yeah.
He is awful.
He is fantastic. How dare you? How dare you?
The kid was awful, and they
He
just
was
decided
fantastic.
we need to talk. We need to match the awfulness of the
No,
kid.
go watch Life as a House and come back to me.
Awful.
He's an excellent actor. He was giving shitty dialogue to work with.
The
Look,
dialogue is bad,
Sam.
and he does
I
not
will
do
agree.
anything to make
Sam.
anything better. Awful.
I defend it this way: is imagine being a young actor. You're in front of a green screen. You're not given the best fucking script or dialogue to
or
memorize
direction.
or direction, and they're encouraging this like, no, yeah,
Exactly.
this is good.
Think
Be
about
as
it.
wooden.
Like,
I'm telling you, that
no one
Lucas
is-
go be as wooden as possible.
But here's the thing, like
did.
no one's gonna
Yeah.
challenge that. Especially when you're a young actor, like holy shit, I want fucking Star Wars. You're not gonna question that shit.
I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. I understand. I get that stuff. But
He
he's
did
still
the
awful.
job he was given.
That doesn't make it. He is awful, and every performance requires a lot of things. That doesn't mean that he's the only thing. That means that the director was probably bad, the editing was bad,
Yeah.
cinematography was bad. Like a lot of things come to create a performance, come together to create a performance. But his dialogue delivery is so wooden.
Hayden's
Yeah.
dope.
It is
Hayden,
like-
if you're listening, I fucking love you, dude.
What else have
sure
you
he's
done?
not
Honestly,
listening.
what has he done?
Life as a
Jumper.
House. I just
Life
told
as a
you.
House?
That is
Jumper.
amazing. Go
That
watch
sounds
that.
like
and
some
get back to me.
sitcom. Like
No, it's a
life
fu-
as a house.
That's why
and
he's-
everything.
Johnny was a regular 2-year, and one day he woke up and found out he was a house.
Yes.
What is he gonna do?
He
as
did
a
also do
house?
Jumper, and then he was in Takers with Idris Elba, and then that fashion style that he had in that film is what defined me in my early 20s. All the
That's
suits,
perfectly
fedoras.
fine.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying,
I love how
dude's a
you're
fucking
so-
rock star.
Embracing it. Yeah, no, that's fine. Again, I personally don't blame Hayden Christensen for his work or his acting, because it's hard to fucking do that in front of a green screen with shitty dialogue. And even though you're in front of the best fucking actors, Ewan McGregor or Christopher Lee,
Yeah.
there's only so much you
Christopher
could
Lee is
fucking
good.
do with this dialogue and the green screen. It's not easy. It's fucking hard. And in a way, he was meant to be awkward.
He
and,
was.
and you know,
Thank you,
in the
man.
wrong spot. Like I get where it's coming from. So in a way, seeing the cringe,
We need to put that out.
I like that. I like that.
seeing the cringe from him is helps Anakin, because
It
Anakin
makes-
was
exactly.
cringe. A young Anakin was
you're
cringe.
a teenager. This is
If
dude,
you think
this is
about
his
what
fir-
it would take for you
Come
to
on,
grow
think
up to
about
be
it.
a villain,
Think about it.
I've seen movies in which a teenager is being awkward, and it's
No,
there's
think
more
of yourself
emotion.
as being that awkward teenager who's still pining after
So-
the love
so-
he met when he was 9.
I could have sworn that I was
Think
not that
about it.
wooden.
So
I
let's
mean,
move on. I'm sure you see you were wooden. Let's move on. What do you think about the Jedi Council's decision to place a fucking young Anakin in charge of overseeing Padme's security, which I thought was somewhat irresponsible
I mean,
and poorly thought
everything is irresponsible. The fact that the film opens up with Palpatine addressing the Jedi Council and still,
Yeah.
in their arrogance, they're not fucking picking this shit up.
Yeah.
We do, as the audience.
Yeah, I get
Like,
that.
that's the whole
that
thing.
he's-
Like, this is all fucking strings
That's
being
what sets
pulled.
this all up. So
Right.
so it's the Jedi Council saying, okay, Padme needs guards. Who do we appoint to her? Well, how about this fucking young adolescent teenage Jedi who had a thing for her or grew up with her? Let's
Well, I mean,
assign her.
Let's go a little bit further back. The fact that Obi-Wan and Anakin were together originally
Yeah.
prescribed as their security, and
Yeah.
guess what happened? Anakin's was the one that was more in tune with the Force and realized that there was the whole assassin
those
thing
worms.
and the
Yeah.
worms
Yeah.
more than Obi-Wan. Because here's the thing, like the thing that I feel that is kind of forgotten is like Obi-Wan did what he did best, but the thing is Obi-Wan was a C student trying to teach an A student
I like
when you
that.
look at it from
Why
that
do you think
perspective.
he was a C student though?
Just in the sense of like there was still so
Comparison?
much he had to learn from Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was ready to fucking drop his ass to
He
train
wasn't
Anakin.
dropping him. He said that he was ready.
He went up
was
to.
ready.
and
He
that's
said
the-
that he was
and that's the-
ready.
but
That
then-
means that
he
he's
was
not a
ready.
C
that's
student.
what he says. However, everything that we see about Obi-Wan and the way he reprimands Anakin and the way he just is the general like relationship they have, you see there's a lot of Obi-Wan shortcomings that affect Anakin.
See, I
in
don't
the
see
long
it as
run.
shortcomings. I see it as Anakin.
There was a lack of
Obi-Wan,
guidance.
Obi-Wan is the result of being taught by a teacher that maybe doesn't follow. It's your Dead
that's true,
Poet
though.
Society.
That's true, too.
It's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
Dead
yeah.
Poet
I'll give you
Society,
that.
and
Yeah.
Robin Williams is the teacher that bends the rules and goes outside of the box and teaches him what he needs to survive. And therefore, you have this product of Obi-Wan, which is he was taught by the best, but he was also led into the example of like maybe sometimes the rules are allowed to be broken and bent.
Well,
and do
no,
what you need to
and
do.
I do completely agree with that. But the thing is, like, it's because of the way Obi-Wan was, the way he was, that it caused Anakin to seek validation from elsewhere. And who does that end up being? Palpatine. You know, which ends up.
Palpatine knew what he was doing
Oh
too.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is all orchestrated. Like
He was watching his
like, there were
career
so
with
many
great interest.
And Jar Jar Binks was all behind it apparently.
Yeah, and Jar Jar Binks was behind all of this.
I mean, it
What
makes
about the
complete
revelation of the
sense.
clones? Did you guys follow
yeah,
that?
It was a mystery thriller. Like, ooh,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ooh,
Where are these fucking clones coming
Yeah,
from?
I mean,
Django
it
Fett,
was,
right?
it
Django
was
Fett
super
was
cool. The
Django Fett was the original template to clone them. It was Cypher Diaz, the Jedi, who 10 years ago hired these aliens on Kamiko to create the clone army.
Yeah, it was the whole conspiracy aspect of it. I love that.
But see, so Jedi Cypher Diaz was a Jedi.
Sifo Diaz, yes.
Cypher Diaz was a Jedi who was gifted with this power of foresight. So he more than other Jedis was able to see ahead of what was coming. And because of that, he went to the Jedi Council and said, shit's gonna get bad. We need a fucking
an
army.
army.
We need to build an army. And the Jedi Council was like, again, in their arrogance and their stupidity was like, you're out of your mind. We're the Jedis. We don't need an army. Get the fuck out of here. And Cypher Diaz was like, no, I fucking see what's going to happen. I'm going to go do this without the Jedi Council's approval. So he goes to Kamiko, a planet that's outside of the Outer
Kamino.
Rim, Kamino, and he hires
Kamiko
them.
is from The Boys.
There you go. That's what.
And
That's why
she's
I
a
kept thinking
badass.
of that.
Yeah.
And he hires them to make this clone army, and then he dies or he disappears. So when Obi-Wan goes to this planet, following clues and little pieces of the puzzle, that's where he finds out what the fuck is this clone army that's being created. The only reason why they were, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm
No,
creeping
bring it.
into.
Oh, do we ever give a spoiler warning?
So Darth
It's the spoiler warning here.
Darth Sidious was onto this plan, and he went to Kamino after Cypher Diaz and said, continue with creating these clones, but program them with this Order 66.
Order 66, yes.
And that's why in part 3, it just takes a matter of execute Order
Execute Order 66.
66. Because they were already
Clone
programmed with it because Darth Sidious found out about this plan that Cypher Diaz had. So a lot of the fans have already fucking tuned out, and they're like, these fucking virgin nerds.
Wait, was it us or the people in the movie? Wait, what?
Me, specifically me, because
You? Why? Aren't you one of like the expert nerds?
yeah, but the fact
You
that
have tattoos
a
of
lot of
fucking
people-
like.
That's
Does have Star Wars
why.
tattoos.
That's why
Why are you embarrassed?
I'm not embarrassed. I just feel like a lot of the audience doesn't have the same interest on these smaller details.
No,
as
that's
maybe
good.
we
I think
do.
I think we're gonna get like that
of
hardcore.
feedback.
No, see,
Star Wars.
and that was the whole thing. Because half this film, I feel, is that mystery conspiracy.
Yes.
The fact that there's shit happening behind the scenes. That who the fuck did this? How? What? When?
Ooh.
And it shows the proof of just how much was orchestrated
You
behind the
see Count
scenes.
Dooku.
Yes.
You get to see Count
I
Dooku.
fucking
Dookie.
love that. Yeah, it gets expanded more in the Clone Wars, which is exceptionally done, and in the Bad Batch. But
I
like,
guess I need to watch the Clone Wars because
Dude,
I've never
yeah,
seen
let me
that.
give you my list, dude.
Arturo,
I'll
dude,
do- yeah.
I swear to God, listen, I'm gonna vouch for Arturo on this one. Arturo emailed,
Fist bumps happening in front of me.
he sent me a list of need to watch Clone Wars episodes because just like with any other TV show, there's a lot of filler episodes in
And
this.
in particularly with this animated series, because in the very
The
beginning,
animated series.
they weren't sure if they were going to get a season 2, so they just created all these like self-contained story arcs. And they're like, oh no, build an actual story. We're like, oh fuck, okay. So
And it was, by the way, the person behind Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, the guy that did The Mandalorian.
Fuck yeah.
And he's behind all of these newer Star Wars shows that are coming out. He was first involved with the Clone Wars. That's why George Lucas Disney gave him the green light to do all these shows because of how good he did with the Clone Wars. So Dave Filoni was such a big fan. Thank you, Dave. That when he heard that one line, in A New Hope of Obi-Wan saying, "Yeah, I fought with your dad on the Clone Wars." He took that and was like, "Fucking, this is what the Clone Wars was like, and this is what I feel like would have happened."
Good.
And he did such a good job. So if you follow the list that Arturo's gonna send you episode by episode, you'll get through them fast, man. It's like 20-minute episodes. I think I must have. I think I got through like 6 or 7 episodes per night.
And I
just
even asterisked to my favorite ones.
Yeah. So definitely watch the Clone Wars if you're out there and you haven't
And
seen
if you want my list, please let me know and I'll send it to you.
The reason why it's so good is because
contact him on Instagram or whatever.
It enhances that relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And I feel like that's what part 3, a lot of people missed is that you didn't see that bond.
I can argue that, but I see what you mean though, because it definitely does expand a lot.
It strengthens that bond.
Before we move on to the third movie,
let's go back to
I want to say a couple things because you guys are all talking all kinds of positives, and I'm the negative guy, so I'm going to go into the negative.
Nancy.
I do want to say the visuals here are like. They kind of there's sort of a downgrade that happens.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
this
fuck.
This is peak CGI.
Here's the thing that Lucas felt like. I feel like at some point he thought like we need to just have as much CGI as possible.
Yeah.
Because we need to impress with the CGI as possible, and all he ends up doing is making it seem very cartoony.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of Clone Wars, and then even into Revenge of the Sith, like it's very cartoony. Like the CGI is so cartoony because it
doesn't hold up, man.
So much of it, and I thought this back then, and this is not. So after, when Clone Wars came on, I was already like 2 years older, so I was already starting to like be a little bit more critical of things and things like that, and I felt like it was just too much CGI, like way too much. Really it needed a little bit more practical effects. Like
the thing is that at that time of age, CGI was moving too fast.
Yeah,
I think they thought like
that's the
it was like the mentality of like we don't need to do practical. Everything could be CGI now, and it actually made some things look worse than they could.
Things
have
that could have been practical effects. They were like, nah, CGI is a thing.
Fuck it, and
they're like, are you sure, dude? We have this literal puppet right here in the box. We can do it right now.
CGI in Yoda was a good thing. I think that was a good move because then you get that awesome fight at the end.
And then you got to see more of his expressions. You got to see like him running his hands through his hair and being as obsessed.
Yeah,
upset.
With the
upset.
That's the word I was looking for. But no, I mean, that saber fight when all of a sudden he like drops his staff and is like, whee!
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
Badass.
That is honestly the only thing that I remember from this movie that I find good.
The Colosseum fight?
You don't remember the Colosseum?
The Colosseum fight was
the fight is an army of Jedi. We've never seen.
We watched
Jango Fett getting his head chopped off.
Yeah, I mean Sam Jackson as a whole, Mace Windu.
We watched that here before we started recording, and it
partially.
I was watching it, and I was not impressed.
Well, you're wrong.
No.
You're wrong.
I find this movie very, very like just unimpressive, like very forgettable.
Wow.
Forgettable is the word. Like honestly, I forgot about it.
I will say,
it's very forgettable.
You somehow forgot about Anakin going to Tatooine.
Yeah, trying to after 10 years.
Not just the man.
10 years later, he finally remembers his mother. It was like, oh, maybe I should go visit my mom. 10 years ago, after I abandoned her, being a slave, and one night, and like, oh, what? Something bad happened? Oh man, what the fuck was I doing these past 10 years?
Was it 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years passed. Yeah.
So how is
never visited his mom. What a bad kid you were.
How old is Lars? Because Lars comes out.
Lars isn't in the first one.
Lars Owens, no, in part 2 in Clone Wars. He comes out and he says, when Anakin goes and looks for his mom, and he encounters this hut
Joel
in
Edgerton.
Tatooine, and he says,
Yes.
and Lars is like, "Oh, you must be my stepbrother then."
Yeah.
Your mom, she was sold off
Shmi,
to this
yeah.
guy, and they together had a baby, which was me, and then she got kidnapped. He's already got like a fucking beard, like he's already old.
It's been 10 years.
So if it's been 10 years, and it happened,
They're not
Yeah,
half
that doesn't
brothers.
make any sense.
They're step siblings, dude. They're not.
Oh, step. That's right. That didn't say half brother.
They were
said
never
step,
half
so it
siblings.
was-
Yeah, yeah.
They're
They're
not
step.
actually blood related.
No,
So in A New Hope, Luke is not growing up with his actually blood relatives.
not biological. No.
It's just like, oh, Uncle Lars had the same parent. Okay, there you
All
go.
right.
Fucking learn.
Anything-
well, I'm
something new.
happy to have Phil next week. Yeah.
Fucking 30 years
anything
later.
else you want to say about
Yes,
Clone
all my
Wars before we
positives.
move
Okay,
on?
let's see here.
I know you have like
the
a list.
Coliseum fight was awesome.
Yeah.
I did mention Luke meeting Luke's aunt and uncle and sitting in the kitchen, blue milk.
That's true,
Like,
the
that
blue
was
milk.
cool, man. Anakin's mom's dying. You get it.
Yeah.
There was no emotion. Come on.
Oh,
Come on.
Replay that scene.
Christ.
As
But
you can
she
see
sho-
here
he
in the
shows
back,
up.
we
Nothing-
clearly see
He's not
Hayden
gonna put it
Christensen's
up there.
face.
He's not putting it
Nothing
up there.
about-
the rage.
Nothing
and
about
everything
this
that's
movie is
happening right
emotional.
there.
There's
everything.
nothing.
I will say,
And,
I'm
and
gonna-
the fact that when then he talks to Padme about it and the Imperial March plays in the background, dude.
it plays in the
I
background,
don't
but I
remember
don't
this.
like the way. I don't like that.
fucking love the way it
Listen,
fucking sounded.
Arturo, imagine
See.
you're in a situation where you go up to your wife and you're like, I have something to confess to you.
Yeah.
I just killed a bunch of men, women, and children. And she's all like, that's so fucking sexy.
That did not happen in the
I
movie.
so wanna
What version
continue to
did
be-
you want?
I'm not saying that happens, but any
You
fucking
literally
any
said
person in the logical brain set would be like,
bro.
That's right. He ended
That's
up
a
killing a
fucking
bunch
red
of people.
flag.
That's right.
you just
I forgot
told
about
me
that too.
this. You someone that
She
yes
knows
I knew.
his struggle, bro.
I get that, but still, I'm saying
She's been grooming him since she was 10 years
so
old.
you tell me if you told Maria right now something that you did that was like
Who's
like
Maria?
dark.
we're talking right
Your
now
wife.
when we've already had
Mia,
like
Maria.
with 2 kids and married for 10 years, or would you say
She's gonna fucking back you, dude.
8 months after? No, right now she would.
Yeah.
But they're not married for 10
So, you mean
years
to
and
tell
have
me-
kids.
so-
They knew each other as kids
Hold on.
for a few months, and then they spent the next few years apart from each other, 10 years from what we understand, apart from each other. Like they legit have not seen each other for 10 years. And then they reunite and they're like, hey, you're that kid. Cool. You're going to
Maria,
protect me?
when you
Okay.
fell in love with Uble, which you have defended his
Baby,
ass.
don't answer that. Don't you answer that. If I would have told
Answer
you
that in the comments.
a week or 2 after we met, like,
This
by
is
the way.
not a week or 2 after. They've clearly spent time on Tatooine together and they fell in love.
Okay,
When they were
most they could have done was months.
Yeah.
A young teenage Anakin.
Think about it, dude. A young teenage within months, dude. You do anything for that person. You fucking
Right.
die for that person.
I absolutely
dude.
agree. That's
Very
why I'm
horny.
saying it's wrong.
Very horny.
Just like I would say Romeo and Juliet were wrong.
I'm just saying
That's
that
what
you
I'm,
believe
I'm
it.
just pointing it
you
out.
believe it.
I'm just pointing it out that
never said it was right or wrong.
any sane person who has just been told
When you're a
that
teenager
this
and you back
fucking
your
guy, dude. If I was even a teenager,
No, I'm the one.
if I'm being
So
told I just killed women and children, I would be like, I'm fucking out, man. Get some help. I would be there and help. I wouldn't be like, laters. But I definitely wouldn't be like, this is the person that's fucking.
That's
gonna...
not what happened either.
It doesn't seem like
She's just there for him.
And then almost immediately they get married. At the end of this movie,
Yeah, they
get
do,
married.
and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful, but it's months after he tells
Sunset.
her that he just murdered women and children.
And there's a lot more in play happening here.
It's just
His
like
mom,
totally okay.
his mom died. You mean you wouldn't go on a rampage if someone murdered your mom?
I would, and I would
Thank
also
you.
understand if my wife was like, I don't fucking want anything to do with you, man. You just killed a bunch of women and children. Children!
All right.
Well,
Let's. Are we done with Clone Wars? Because we gotta get to.
I do want to
more.
talk about that. Christopher Lee.
Yes.
Come
Oh,
on.
Christopher
As Dooku.
Lee.
Count
That-
Dookie, very
10 out of
good.
10. Count Dookie.
I'm sorry, Count Dookie.
How
Get
dare
the
you
fuck
disrespect
out of
him.
here with that shit.
Please.
Sorry.
Give me my beer. You can't have any of this.
I already drank it.
And-
You
and
can't do
then-
God
it.
damn it.
But
In fact,
same extension,
producer,
the
can you
fight
give me
scenes with
another
Anakin and the double sabers, that was fucking awesome. Yoda, which we touched upon, was
Yoda's
fucking
We
awesome.
get to
Cool.
see Anakin getting his hand chopped off.
We do.
Yeah.
That's
Come
what
on.
we see in this
That-
movie.
And a direct allusion to Luke.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
something that you and I were talking about earlier when watching Attack of the Clones is the fact that Padme evolves from damsel in distress to a fucking badass in this movie.
Yeah,
I think she was a badass in the first movie, actually, because she was leads
that too.
leads,
but
leads
like
the
fact that that's true. In the throne room, and they getting
she
to
leads
that.
the little mission in there.
That's
so
true.
yeah,
No,
she's
she
a
really
badass in
does.
the beginning.
But
Anyway,
even more so in this film.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And
She
is that my
becomes
last
more of a
bullet
warrior.
point?
What is it?
Oh, they had a wedding. That was my last one.
They had a wedding.
At the end of the episode, at the end of the movie. Yeah.
I mean, if you ever want to like just sit down with your loved one and like listen to a great relationship on film, Attack of the Clones is for you. Anyways,
And in Revenge of the Sith, it's beautiful.
Revenge of the Sith. Let's go to Revenge of the Sith.
We got how many
Because
minutes?
this is the only prequel movie that I think is decent.
I was gonna say everyone I feel can argue that Revenge of the Sith
Yeah.
is the best.
Yeah.
Of the prequels.
I
Yes.
rewatched it multiple times.
Relative to the other two, it's decent.
It is my most rewatched Star Wars film.
Yeah, it's good.
Same.
And it's actually the first Star Wars
need me to
movie
open
that
it?
goes PG-13.
I got it.
Even though I still think it's not as adult as like Rogue One is or anything like that, but yeah,
it definitely has the most darker thematic material.
Yeah. I mean, what's his name? Hayden Christensen. What the fuck is his name again?
You just said it.
Hayden Christensen.
Stop being a dick.
I was right. Okay, he's still awful.
No, he's fantastic.
He's better in
He
this.
was badass in this.
He's
And
a little
within
better.
the first 30 seconds,
he's
we get
still
so
awful.
much between him and Obi-Wan. Why am I yelling at the TV?
Yeah.
We get so much of him between him and Obi-Wan. Like, yes, the Clone Wars is expanding a lot more, but you get so much great banter between the two in that opening space fight.
Again.
Had you.
Listen to me, Sam.
I'm sorry. I will get to that part.
You would.
This is where the
feel
fun
like,
begins.
Yeah, nice. I feel like you would have more appreciation for him as Anakin if he saw Clone Wars, because.
But
at
that's
least me
not him.
personally-
That's a
I know it's not
cartoon.
him. But trust me, at least me personally, psychologically, it adds to their
adds to his
relationship,
performance somehow?
and it
I mean,
adds to his performance.
Which
because
is within this. I completely agree. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
it's
go
fine.
for it.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
I was going to say,
Interrupt
yes,
me.
because, I mean, you interrupted the shit out of me. on the Supernatural.
No, that's why I'm afraid never gonna go.
There's some great banter going. I've never. This is one of the first times where I feel like I don't
It's
have to
fucking
talk.
Star Wars.
Or I'm
so,
just like
Well,
I'm enjoying the banter.
Speaking
between
of banter, like that was such a great thing between the opening and Obi-Wan and Anakin. You see a lot of them. They're back and forth, and then their first Jedi fight between the droids. They're having each other's backs constantly. You're getting so much of a sense that they've clearly done this before.
Yeah.
The visual exposition of the scar on Anakin's face. He's been through war. He's grown up. They've been through so much shit. And then even then, when they find each other in the elevator, they're still talking shit. Like that just gives so many dimensions to the relationship at this point and everything they've gone through together.
Let's talk about Emperor Palpatine over there.
Senator Palpatine.
Sam was like, all right, moving the fuck on.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, Ian's fucking fantastic, man.
Yeah,
and at this point, he's drawn up so many strings.
Yeah, you know what? He's one of like the sort of the actors besides Obi-Wan Kenobi that kind of like goes through the all three movies, and you see how he has a character arc.
Six
All 6.
Yeah, 6 movies. That's right. Well, he doesn't come out in New Hope, but.
Oh,
And actually, the original Empire Strikes Back didn't have him. It was actually a different actor, I believe.
Yeah, I know
My
you're- I
understanding,
think
and
you're
it wasn't until Return of the Jedi that he.
I mean, it's just the fact that Ian came back though. Like that's fucking crazy.
It's funny because I remember when I originally watched this, and this is going back to the original to Phantom Menace, but I remember seeing him. I was like, he looks so much like the Emperor. Is that
Fucking guy.
like why does he look so much like the Emperor? Like he looks so much like him.
I
Is
mean,
that-
it helped
and
that they-
it didn't click in my mind that he's going to be the Emperor.
I mean, it helped that at the time they cast a 40-year-old to play a 100-year-old. You know, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, how old he was, like young when he made Return of the Jedi. I didn't know this until the prequels came out that he was so young and that all of that was makeup. And then he just ended up looking
Being old.
Like, he just ended up looking exactly how they made him up to be in Return of the Jedi.
yeah.
It's fucking fantastic.
well, there's a similar thing with Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor, and the fact that how much he's aging. There's some point where he was younger than the age, and then he was the age, and then he was older, and then that whole thing, you know. Which again, this film did such a great job. And just the opening, the fact that we go from the space fight to everything on the ship, rescuing, and then to the Grievous, General fucking Grievous. Can we talk about him?
Hello there, General Kenobi.
Did you really like him as a villain?
Yes, he was bad. He was like this lizard robot bird thing with a cough. It was great.
It felt like, why does a robot have a cough? It makes no fucking sense.
That's where you're wrong. It's
It
not a
makes no
robot.
sense.
Because he's a cyborg. He has
No,
biological eyes.
Sam, no,
okay.
it's more than that. It's more than that. There's a backstory in one of the encyclopedias I read where General Grievous was.
so much research.
He was an organic.
I mean,
being.
You don't even need the encyclopedia. You
like
have
Darth-
real fucking eyes, dude.
Just like Darth
come
Vader.
on.
Oh, okay.
Just like Darth Vader, he was once a
As
living
you can see
being.
here.
And he's
Yeah.
more
His
robot.
Eyes.
Wait, yeah, we got
dissect
now,
him, and
he's
he
making you do
became-
more work.
Sorry, no.
That's why he's coughing.
Making
That's why he's
more
got
work.
the eyes. That's why he's got the. That's how Obi-Wan kills him. Is he eventually
Shooting him in the
gets to
chest,
his
yeah.
actual organ,
So
and
uncivilized.
that's what kills him. But I do like the fact that he has killed multiple Jedis, and every time he kills a Jedi, he takes their lightsaber. That's why he has multiple lightsabers.
It was such a great way to
Yeah.
give us this backstory in a super quick way. And just, this guy means fucking business.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there's too much. I think as far as Revenge of the Sith goes, there's way too much for me to pinpoint because I definitely like this one more than Phantom Menace and Clone Wars. It had a stronger relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan. It had the battle on Mustafar. It had the birthing of the twins.
Okay.
Like there was just so much. There was just so much.
Am
in
I
this
the only
movie.
one who thinks that the battle on Mustafa?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Who thinks
You
that
didn't
Before
even
you
finish
even
the sentence.
finish.
Yeah, yes.
I
Before you
mean,
even
they're
finish,
fighting
you're
on top
wrong.
of a volcano. Nobody's getting burnt. Everybody's just like whatever. And then all of a sudden, like just because
Sam,
a little bit
it's
of
called the
of
Force.
lava, like kind of touches. I don't even know if it
Kinda
touches him.
Have you seen the movie?
I have seen the
Oh,
movie.
it lights him on
They're-
fire.
They're fighting on top of the. They're like on these little things that are floating, and they're
Yes.
fighting on top of the lava. Nobody's
It's
like
floating.
feeling the heat.
Lava doesn't jump at you.
It's lava. It's
Jedis.
super hot.
Have you hung out in
They're
lava
Jedis.
before? In space
You
lava?
can't because it's
space
so hot. You can't because it's so hot.
We don't know if this lava is like Earth lava.
Yes, thank you.
They're
That droid lost his
Jedis.
job by picking
Yeah,
up
they're
that
like
lava.
right there.
sweating.
I mean,
Clearly
look at
he's
it.
sweating.
Yeah, nobody's sweating. They're like on
No,
top
he
of
is sweating.
lava.
He is
Nobody's
sweating.
like, oh, it's a little hot here.
So we just jumped from here to all the way down here on my notes.
it's a little hot out here, Obi.
No,
It's-
everything about that fight is epic.
Yeah,
There was so
everything.
much that led to this. You can argue that the entire trilogy led to this. And this fight between brothers and the fact of what comes out of all this. And it's Anakin's death and the birth of Darth Vader. Everything that is tied into this. I mean, just the
So,
fact that
Anakin,
Obi-Wan
I
yells
have the high
afterwards.
ground.
And that builds into fucking Anakin's arrogance. The fact that he's lost sight of everything he wanted to do before. All he wanted to do for the longest fucking time was to save Padme. That's all he wanted to fucking do. And he got to a point where he saw that power was attainable, and that fucking quest for power is what drove him over the fucking edge, dude. It's the fucking dark side, man.
I get what you're saying. I like all that stuff that's going on behind the scenes, but I really don't think. I still think that the best lightsaber battle from this trilogy is the lightsaber battle with Maul.
By far the best trilogy by lightsaber is Darth Maul with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
I mean, this is a fine battle, but I feel like it's.
second.
You think this one is a
I
strong?
think, yeah, I think so.
There's
No,
been,
like,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Like this was. Oh, it sounded like you said Darth Maul was the first one. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's what I'm
I agree
saying.
with him.
Oh, that is what he
I
said.
give
Okay,
this
no.
one a second. Yeah.
Oh, I
give
I
this
think
one a
the
second.
Yoda
I flip
battle
it.
is more
Against Dooku?
What? No.
Yoda. You get to see Yoda actually battle. Like that's like something you've always
There's
wanted
so
to
much
see.
that this has so much weight behind it.
Yeah,
I-
like
I-
how, like,
you're
that
right, you're
Yoda
right.
is
You're
just-
right. I have to give you that. It's true.
Yeah.
There's a
Thank you.
lot going
Thank you.
on here, and it really this scene does a lot to enhance the original trilogy, which is something that we talked about in the last episode, which is what I like about the prequels.
Oh, our producer is pointing at something.
Yeah. Can you go back? Go back.
Thank you to how he's lighting on fire.
No,
proving
go
my
back to
point.
how it happens. I think Noel is saying what I'm trying to say.
No, I think he's saying what I'm trying to say.
No. Let's see.
Noel, can you
Let's
please?
see when they show it.
You're
They
just
show it.
raising your
What,
hand
what,
and
are you,
everything.
what are you doing?
He starts to burn because it's lava and shit.
Thank you.
I know, but they've been in lava this whole time.
They
It
haven't
was-
been in in lava, dude. They were
They
on
haven't
little
been touching
robots.
it.
That was a nice cool breeze. They were like,
See, thank you.
A cool
No,
breeze.
thank
Yeah,
you.
look.
You don't know
Yes.
these helipads have air conditioning on
Yes.
them.
Have you ever been on the lava fields of Mustafar,
Yeah.
Sam? No,
No,
you fucking
clearly.
haven't. That's my point.
Yeah.
Wait, go
See?
back to the burning. Go back to the burning scene. Go back. I want when the spark happens. I had to.
See, he catches on fire because of the lava, dude.
Hold on.
I hate
But he's not touching the
You're
lava
my brother
at all.
Anakin. All right, so other positive things.
It just fucking turned.
It's a little
It
bit.
just fucking turned. It
What are you
fucking lights
talking
on fire.
about? This is like-
Thank you.
Because
It
of the
lights
heat.
on fire. He
Because
never
it-
touches. I know.
What do you mean he never
He
touches?
never
Look,
touches
he's
the
on
lava.
fire.
He's like the exact amount of space that was between them and the
You don't know how the properties
Obi-Wan
of
is
lava
wearing
nor
boots.
fire
Obi-Wan
work in
is
this
wearing
universe.
boots.
I love how Uble is trying to figure out a way to justify it.
I'm
because
not
he just-
trying.
because
I
his
already
eyes-
know.
His eyes showed him something that he cannot accept.
Audience members, what do
Listen.
you think? Is Sam in the wrong? Are we? What
Anakin
the fuck going on?
Anakin is so far past the Force that he has lost the ability to protect himself
And
from the flames
He has
with
the
the
dark
Force.
side with him.
Not right there. He doesn't. Right there, he's allowing his emotions and his anger to take the best of him.
But that's what's the dark side.
Well,
the
he
dark
doesn't.
side
No,
is the emotions
no.
and the
Anger is not the dark side. Anger leads to the dark side, but it doesn't mean that because you're angry, you can now
I'm starting to
master
realize
fear.
the dark
you know-
side.
You know, what I'm starting to
Fear leads to
realize
That you're wrong
Anger
about all
leads
your
to-
Star Wars theories.
No,
Hate leads to
I
I agree
suffering.
with you.
I'm starting to realize that the dark side is just being a human being.
Well, see, that's the very interesting. No. I mean, look at it from a
Being a
bigger
human
perspective.
being.
Like the Jedi. Okay, again, going back to the idea of Qui-Gon versus Obi-Wan. Like, I feel like if Anakin had Qui-Gon as a master, he would have been aware of certain things of the dark side because Qui-Gon was constantly challenging that shit.
Yeah.
But if you, for example, grow up in an environment where you're constantly told no to this thing and you realize, oh shit, maybe there is some truth to that. And this whole time I've been sheltered and I've been going down. Like, if you, and
Remorse.
the thing too within this his whole idea is the fact that Anakin sees two different ideologies, both of which says he's too dangerous to be kept alive. That comes
Really?
from Palpatine, dark
Yeah.
side. That comes from Mace Windu, Jedi. So if you have these two different ideologies, and one of them is telling you, they're both telling you the same exact shit, but then one of them also tells you, hey, I'm gonna help you save your wife. That's where the fuck you're gonna go, wouldn't you? Like this whole
No,
thing
I
is
get why he turns.
orchestrated
I
to
think
the,
all that is well told.
which leads to the epic lightsaber scene.
Yeah. Wait, you brought up Mace Windu, who
Yes.
gets killed by the Emperor
Yeah,
Palpatine.
that's fucked
Who-
up.
You get to
Do
see
you
the
think-
whole turning of
You
him.
think he'll come back?
I mean, Sam Jackson says he's alive.
No, I'm
What?
serious.
Mace Windu?
Yeah.
Why would he come back?
Well,
he
because
dies.
it's Samuel L. Jackson. He refuses to die.
Oh,
Darth
God,
Maul.
no.
Like, and
Darth
I'm
Maul.
fucking down.
Darth Maul got
Darth
split
Maul
in
should not have
half.
come back from that.
No,
he
and
came
it was
back.
well done for the way he came
was
back.
I need to see
Explain.
how that happens because whatever.
So those
So he
that
goes back
season
to
4,
Dathomir.
yeah,
The-
He
wait.
goes back to Dathomir, which is his home planet, and one of the sisters, one of the
Witch
but
sisters.
when they slice him in half, he has the face of like, and then it's like a
well,
blank
fucking
face.
what face would you have?
He's
if you got
dead.
cut
It's
in
a
half?
blank face,
Wha-
and he falls
You-
down.
It's a surprise face.
I
It's
mean-
like, oh fuck, I can't
Whatever.
feel my
if
legs.
I were cut in half and
Anyway,
I were a
wa-
Sith
I
Lord,
want to get to the Mace Windu scene when he dies
Yes,
because
come back.
I think it's a very hilarious scene where
hilarious.
Where the
Where was
Emperor-
their comedy?
Where the emperor, this is where Anakin
Yeah.
turns. This is where
Yeah.
Anakin finally turns, right? Because Anakin is the one who.
Specifically because Anakin believes that the Emperor can save.
I mean, there's
dreams that
there's
he's
so
been
much
having.
leading up to this too.
Yeah, so
Have I told you about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
yes.
Come on.
It's not a story the Jedi would
That's
say.
in it. That we'll bring
So-
that up in the Disney films.
So the
What do
reason
you mean
why
Disney
Anakin
films? This is
steps-
we're talking about that right now. This is episode 3.
I
the
know
reason-
he brings that up, but
What do you
The
mean
reason-
that? You
the
know,
reason
what are you
that-
watching? Is this like the Croatian version?
that was
Is this
clearly
like-
Portuguese, dude.
That's Philippines.
That was.
No, that was,
Yeah,
you guys not know
and
Portuguese?
he's out.
No,
I think it's all the
Anyways,
reggaeton I listen to.
This is where he turns, and I love the whole good,
Yeah.
good.
Makes sense. He doesn't have to hide it anymore.
It's so great.
Like, he didn't hide it a while back.
Rise.
He had already told him about the dark side. Darth Plagueis. At this point, he has nothing to fucking hide. Of course he's going to fucking shell it out, dude. Especially when you start looking like a...
Trust me, I love this scene.
That.
Actually, I think this is like one of the best scenes in the movie.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Anakin
And
was
also-
like, "What's with your face?"
He
what I
became
would-
a raisin.
Good, right there. He's like, good. God, can you fucking put on the goddamn English?
Why are you
It's
watching
the
this?
best version, bro.
Nemogu's
Trust our producer, you jerk.
Yeah, this,
Are you pirating this? You pirated this, didn't
make sure you put this behind us because we need
Yeah.
to see the fucking.
The
I don't know what
audience
the
needs to
fuck
know.
is going on.
This is the kind of
Zanam
budget
da
we
Mosmo
have.
Outgris Station.
Sicherheit! Sicherheit!
It's already better acting with this dialogue.
Well, in addition to this, let's talk about Order 66.
Oh,
Which is
yes,
right afterwards.
yes. The killing of the Jedi.
Yep.
Execute Order 66.
And the younglings. Oh, you
The
kill. What about the
younglings, man.
younglings?
I mean, dude,
the younglings.
he told him to, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, the younglings.
Again, Order
Like,
66.
he literally tells them, go to the Jedi
Was-
Order, show no mercy. Only then will you have the strength, enough strength in the dark side to save your life.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how the internet has just fucking embraced that as like comedic? Like, oh, there's that scene where Anakin kills all the younglings. Yeah, let's make a
And
meme out of
they
it.
don't show it. It's just like he goes in there and the lightsaber
Turns on
flashes
the
and then you
lightsaber.
cut.
I mean, and then you see like the bit during the
At the end,
the
when they're
holograms.
escaping,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
looking through everything.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about the memes though, like the prequels have had
Suddenly,
so much
right?
meme
Yeah.
material within
It's
like
like in the
last couple like 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just Hello There alone
Hello there.
has been such a thing.
General
Yeah.
oh, there it
Kenobi.
is. There it is. Hold on.
Kenobi.
There it is.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
I love
I
that.
would have liked.
Yeah.
There
Look
was
at that kid.
There was a theory
Can't
that
wait till he dies.
There was a theory that kid became Snoke.
I
Yeah.
remember hearing
Because
that.
it shows like, look at this kid's facial features and let's.
Oh, shit. It
let's-
fucking does look
Yeah.
like
Let's,
I
let's
mean,
forward
well,
his wounds.
if we're talking about younglings that survived,
That would have been a
That
good
looks
that
like
brings
Snoke,
up
dude.
God,
no.
you guys are just
I was
bringing
gonna
up
say
all these
no,
great stories that could have come up with.
No, that brings up Obi-Wan.
What?
What about Obi-Wan?
Younglings that survived. Have you seen Obi-Wan?
I haven't seen it now.
Oh, the movie Obi-Wan.
No,
I mean, the TV show
series.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do like not to get into it too much, but I do feel that the sequel trilogy made me appreciate the prequel trilogy even more so. The Obi-Wan series will re-enhance all love you have for the prequel series.
I gotta
This
watch
will
it.
be an interesting episode to watch when we
I gotta watch
eventually
it.
mince those.
Let's get to the final scenes because we're over
Yeah.
an hour. We gotta finish this up.
Yeah.
What do you guys think
Padme
about
gives
the
birth?
Padme gives birth, dies of just I don't know what the fuck
A
she
broken
dies of.
heart.
Supposedly,
broken heart,
but
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
here's no. You go
It's
back
the
to the
future,
movie,
man.
But she
Well,
manages
here's the
to
thing.
give them names right before she's dying. Like, oh, Luke.
Look.
Excuse me, Sam.
Leia.
Sam, have you been through childbirth?
Of course not.
Then you can't fucking
But
say
I
anything
have-
about childbirth.
Wait, I have
Let's
seen.
bring in.
Wait. You have seen childbirth, I'm sure.
I have.
I have seen it. There is no way any mother is like, blank. I'm just gonna come up with a name right here after I've gone through childbirth.
After seeing childbirth, my wife is the strongest woman I know personally. That after
I agree.
seeing everything she went
I agree,
through,
but you
the
don't come
fact
up with a name right
Yeah,
there.
she fucking can.
What?
Yeah, she fucking can,
You guys
dude.
talked about that
I saw her
beforehand.
push for 3 hours, dude. If
The
she can
name
push
I've
for
been
3
talking-
hours, a human being out of herself, she can
Too
definitely name
exhausted.
them.
Too
No,
exhausted.
There
no,
are two different things. It's not
no,
whether
no.
can
Women,
she
you are fucking powerful.
Arturo,
I
chill,
agree.
man.
That's not
Chill.
what I'm saying. That's
Chill
not what
there.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna defend Sam on this one. Is that we're not saying that she didn't have the mental capability of naming. I can
That's what it
fucking
sounds
name
like.
a couch. Give me 3 seconds. Give me 3 seconds right now, and I'll be like Miguel. This
So
curtain.
you mean you can't do that during
This
that's what
curtain is
you're
Jose.
saying, then. Then you're saying you can't do that during childbirth?
that fucking flag is.
Then you're saying you
is
can't do
John.
that during childbirth.
I can do that, but we're talking.
So which one is it? So which one is it?
Listen, Arturo. What I'm saying is that naming a child is not something that comes as easily as the way she portrayed it. If you're saying that when your
How do you know
baby
she didn't
was
have
born,
this ahead of time?
listen, that's right.
But they
Is
don't
that we
show
don't
any
know
of
that.
that.
Exactly.
If they would have.
Why do you
shown-
need the additional exposition?
Because
It makes it seem unbelievable that
It
after you've
isn't
given
unbelievable.
birth, that Padme would be like,
it's not unbelievable. It just makes it a bit of a stretch where you're like,
that
hey,
makes
here's your
that's what that
child.
means. It makes it hard to believe.
No, I don't think it's hard to
stretch,
believe.
that means
I
it
think it's
makes
just a
it
stretch. I think it's just improbable. But it doesn't make it hard to believe. I think it's just hard to wrap your head around it. What I'm saying
no,
is something as big as naming a child shouldn't be as easily as the way they portrayed it.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a fucking footage that was never aired where it's Padme and Anakin
Yeah, it's
talking
like,
about like,
Luke.
so what do you think about Luke?
That's a great name, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Oh,
fucking Falaferous,
And
you know?
if we have twins who happen to be of different genders, I would
Yeah,
love
that's-
for
I like
Leia.
the-
You
I
make
like
it
the-
seem as if every single child naming is always talked about between both partners.
Of course
we're
it is.
not.
No,
That's
it's
how-
not.
When you know
Did
you're
you not
having
see
a baby,
the latest episode of House of the Dragon? And
But when-
Joffrey came out of fucking nowhere?
Yeah, but when you but
Rhaenyra didn't
that's
get to
different.
decide
Wait, that's
anything.
different.
Right, but there
When
was
you-
a family member.
When there's different. That's different. And when you're having a baby with someone you know you're having a baby with, you tend
That's
to talk
true.
about names.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. I get where Sam's coming from. I'm not like as fucking
It's not
hardcore
that
about
big
it.
of a deal, but it's pretty like, oh god, it's another Lucas thing. Like, Jesus Christ, you couldn't have added a scene somewhere where they just talked about the names for fuck's sake.
Do you think he did
Like,
that on
it
purpose?
could have
Like
been
Luke,
5 seconds.
Lucas? Like
could've-
George
Oh,
Lucas?
maybe.
Lucas?
At some point,
Yeah.
Maya thought she was having twins. And if we would have named them Luke and Leia.
I would have named them
yeah.
number 1 and number 2.
I can see that.
I had
I
twins.
almost named my second child. This is not a fucking joke. I almost named my second child Dos. That was
No
actually-
shit? And Lori was against that?
She wasn't against it. That was actually a name that was one of the names that was thought about.
How?
Dos. Dos. I wanted to name her Dos.
Dos.
I want to name my second child Dos. So Jacob was my
I'm going to
second
call him
child.
Dos now.
I was.
from
He
now
was
on.
almost
I
Dos. He
prefer
was almost
Jacob.
the Maximiliano also
Nah.
as well. That was
Oh,
another
that's
name.
cool. I like that.
Anyways,
Max.
go back to the movies.
Max
That's
Dos.
I know we're getting
Dos
to personal
Max.
things. The last thing I want to talk about is fucking Darth Vader's reveal at the
Yes.
end, which was so disappointing.
No.
And Padme.
it
It
feels
appears,
that in your
appears that
anger,
in your
You
anger.
killed her.
you
Well,
have killed.
I like the pro- I
if
like
you play
seeing him
back
getting
this,
his
hold on,
son.
hold on.
There,
If,
right.
if you play this back though, his heartbeat stops at the same time she does.
No, they play this. This is good. This is
Oh look,
good.
that's the Imperial symbol right there. The
This
Empire.
is-
Sorry.
This is actually really cool. I like this whole like burnt Anakin and
Makes
how
me
they're
want
rebuilding
rotisserie
him
chicken.
and everything like that.
Hey, that's
I'm
gross.
craving rotisserie
Everything,
chicken now.
everything leading up to they finally showed Darth Vader is really cool. Like how
This
they-
whole reveal is cool. What are you talking about?
yeah, she's giving.
You would
birth.
think that in the future
the birth
or
of her
past,
children is the same time as Vader is being born.
It's cool, but then it gets ruined by the scene that comes right after. Like this is all cool. I like this. James Earl Jones again in whiteface.
Fucking horrible. Why? Why? We were having such a good time, and you fucking had to make a joke like that. God damn it, Sam. Yes. Okay. Go on. What about the scene? Fucking
And
guy,
look,
dude.
you hear him breathe, and even the air escapes through the helmet. Fucking badass.
It's cool. It's cool. Don't get me wrong.
You wouldn't think they would have had like a silent mode on his suit? Like, hey, this is you push his button right here, and it silences the breathing. And he's like, "What the fuck? There was a silencer? Ah, fuck!" And he pushes it, and it's no longer the. You know?
No, because it wouldn't have been as epic.
Everything right here is fucking cool, and then
Everything.
and then like the fucking dialogue kicks in.
I liked it. I don't care. I don't mind
No,
it.
come on. It's
This is
you
great.
that in your
All of
anger.
this is great.
No, it's so bad.
And see,
It's like
here's the thing, like 'cause-
Frankenstein.
Hold on. Because Sidious
Frankenstein.
I think that's what they
clearly.
meant for.
How did he know Padme was dead?
He didn't.
Yeah, how did he know? I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
the thing. I mean, I feel the idea that we were you pick it up. Like he clearly was somehow involved in this, and the fact that if you play this back, his heartbeat stops when Padme's does. It doesn't
Yeah.
pick up until after he starts breathing.
Right.
No. All right, here we go.
This is
Here it
bad,
comes, here it
dude.
comes.
This is tragic. That's the whole thing.
I like this. I like all of this.
all this is like you could rename this whole series the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker. Dude, it's the first time you have robotic legs. You're not gonna walk like that, and it's also the illusion of Frankenstein, man. This is epic. All of it was epic, dude.
I like
Yes, it
it.
was.
I'm not
Thank
laughing
you.
at
No,
you. I'm
we're
laughing
laughing
with
at
you.
Sam.
I'm laughing with you.
So bad.
No, I look. Just because of what it's worth, the transition from Anakin to Darth Vader, and the sadness and the anger that he feels, I like that scene. You're right that no was just somewhat out of place. Not even out of place. It was.
Do you guys not see the image, like the synergy
Again,
with Luke's
no.
imagery?
What?
Yeah,
Father and
they're
son.
parallels. He's talking about the parallels.
Got it.
Parallel,
Got
that's
it.
the word I'm
Oh,
looking
when
for.
Luke
Is it
finds
synergy?
out and he says no, and
It's
then
the parallels, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's there, but it just felt
Revenge of the Sith was fucking awesome.
I've so much enjoyed
Absolutely.
this episode.
absolutely.
Watching you guys fight has been like a dream to me.
We have not
So,
been fighting.
all the
We have
positives that we haven't
aggressively
talked-
been disagreeing.
Oh, okay. Bring out your positives.
Go for it. What are the positives?
He's
So
got
long.
pages.
I know what number one is.
No, what is
No
it?
Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, yeah, it's a huge one.
Yeah.
Well, we have talked about a lot of the things in here already.
Hello there.
Again, just the idea of, Anakin and Leia, the dreams, everything led up so well to everything. He can't even be honest about what he's going through. And when he's talking to Yoda, like just like the fact that there's always shadows on his face. And when he's talking to Obi-Wan, the last time they face off, they talk, again, shadows on the face. There's just a lot of that leads up to everything. Hello there.
Hello there.
Come on.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Just coming after Palpatine and him already being in full power, like the Senate. Pff, I
Yeah.
am the Senate. Like just everything that led up to that.
was
We
cool.
talked about
I
Order
love
66.
Palpatine, by the way. I
Yeah,
said,
he
I
was-
think
he's fucking
he's one of
phenomenal,
the
man.
characters that has a
He really
great
fucking was.
arc throughout the whole prequel trilogy.
Who's the puppeteer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
no,
I love
honestly.
him as a character.
Like
Yeah.
we got to see so much of the character motivations and everything that was developed,
we-
and the
can we-
duality of the Force.
Yeah. So okay, we've done the movie. I want to talk a little bit about what. So I shit on these prequel movies, but I do want to say one thing I think is great about the prequel movies, and I talked about it in the last episode, which is I do think that the prequel movies add to the original trilogy.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The prophecy, the whole
Yep.
myth of who Anakin is and why he's so important
Yeah.
and why Return of the Jedi has such an awesome closure.
Oh yeah.
Which, when we get to the next episode, is why
We'll get there.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
despise
No, I hear you.
some of what happens in the. But like, yes, I think the prequels, despite all their flaws, and there's a lot of flaws.
Some.
But the overarching story, of what Lucas was trying to do,
Yeah.
I think was good.
Yes.
I think there was a reason why these prequels should exist. I wish they would have been better made in terms of the
Just wanted the
specifics of it.
execution to be tighter.
The execution is what I'm talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the story is good. The story is good. The execution was bad, and it really added to the story. It really added
Really did.
to the story of Anakin and
Everything
what he
felt
means.
complete. Yeah.
And these 6 movies, episode 1 through 6, it's a beautiful story in my opinion.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
So you guys are
definitely
gonna be
agree.
pissed about my grades for this prequel trilogy, but I just want to bring that positive before I
Bring
go
it.
back to the negative.
Bring it.
Before we get to the grades, I just want to say I'm curious because this is kind of the experience that I had, at least. Like, they're not perfect. I never argue that they would. And even then, even when I was a kid, I did see some of that. But I never saw the complete disdain that there was for it until like the internet launched. I remember all of a sudden kind of like looking like, oh wait, they were hated? Because
Yeah.
even
I was
like
wrong.
I don't remember there being that, and I feel like it's because the movies came out before the way the internet did. This was an era before a movie would bomb because of Twitter hate and things of that nature. Like I remember at the very least these were all like, except like, oh, okay, cool, we're getting more of the universe.
I remember they were hated.
I remember being caught up in because I know a big part of the argument was that the fact that these films did feel very juvenile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do
childish.
agree with that. And it's like I do see the idea of like, what if they had been presented in mind with a growing audience? But then the thing too,
That's the thing is like Lucas didn't realize that his audience had grown up.
well, here's the
Yeah.
thing though. Here's the thing with that, and I agree that to a certain extent because I would have loved to see like a darker. Me and Ula were talking about this, like a young adult aspect of like instead of just kids versions type thing. But the thing is too, like I feel like the bigger generation that was seeing this, the original sequels, the original trilogy were in their 20s. Now they're in their 40s.
Yeah.
So they're still going to tune in no matter what. You need to now appeal to the younger crowd.
Yep.
So I get that to an extent, and ultimately what I remember
That's the thing is like I think Lucas didn't understand that when he made the original trilogy. I think he was kind of trying to get like a younger crowd. Like they're clearly like, but this younger crowd had grown up. It's been 20 years since Return of the Jedi.
But they were going to tune in no matter what, though.
Yeah,
That's
but
the thing.
it not only that, but the people who grew up in the 80s had also grown up as well. They're also teenagers or young adults and so on. So you're doing this prequel trilogy that the majority of the main fan base are all either in their early 20s or in their 40s, and they're adults. They're all adults basically. Like, no wonder that main fan base is gonna be like, this is shit.
That's true too. Yeah.
Like, one thing that's interesting is like the people who discovered Star Wars from the prequels, they love the prequels.
Yeah.
Like the people,
hands
who
down.
like that was the first exposure to Star Wars. They're usually kids. They were kids when these
No one
movies
loves
came
Jar
out.
Jar Binks though.
Yeah, no one loves Jar Jar Binks.
No one loves Jar Jar Binks.
Worst character of all time.
Like,
And but so that's interesting thing is like he made a movie. He made a prequel trilogy that was in one sense meant for the Star Wars fan base, but it was also meant for a new
generation.
new
Yeah,
generation.
no, definitely.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
and when you talk to that new generation, they love the prequels.
They
It's
really
weird.
do.
I mean, I do.
And the older generation, people like I guess me,
They've grown
and-
to accept it.
No, I haven't accepted them
A lot
yet.
of people have. I think you're in the
well,
I
minority.
accept,
and that's-
I accept them
and
in the sense that they
we'll
add
get to it on the
story.
on
They add to
the
story.
future episode.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do feel like the taste that the sequels left in a lot of people's mouths ended up making them enjoy the prequels more.
I think you're right in the sense that the episodes 1 through 6 have a real story to tell. A real story that begins and ends.
Which we'll get to more on the next episode.
And ends with episode 6. But then some fucking company called Disney decided that we need to fucking make some more movies. And this fucking guy is one of their biggest supporters.
What the fuck?
Yeah, fucking Disneyland maker.
It's my fault.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
it's
there's a
this guy.
difference between Disneyland and Disney Studios, but
It's
you can.
the same company.
Nah,
Don't give me this
Sam-
shit.
Sam doesn't
Anyways,
see that blind.
so-
So
before we get
thank
to
you
that-
again for listening.
Look forward to that because there's a lot to talk about in the next episode of this
Yeah.
Moron Trilogy. But before we leave, let's get to the grades because we have to do it. We have
Oh
to do it.
yeah.
Oh fuck! For the full
For the original trilogy, the prequel. I mean, no, the prequel
Prequels.
trilogy.
Prequel trilogy.
Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
oh shit, we're doing individual movies, not a full trilogy.
No, the individual
true,
movie, just like
that's
we
true,
did with
that's
the
true.
original trilogy.
Phantom Menace, I would give it B plus.
Wow.
You're doing numbers.
Yeah, you're doing numbers.
I'm doing numbers. I would give it an 8.3.
That's not a B plus.
Yes, it is.
8.3 is
8.3.
not a B plus.
That's an 80%, 83%.
That's more like
I
a
can't do
B
math, I don't know.
minus.
Is that-
Yeah, it's more like a B
Okay.
minus.
Then I'll give it a B minus. 83%.
8.3.
83%.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, I give it a 79%.
A 7.9. Okay, I like
And
it.
then Revenge of the Sith, I give it a 9.2.
What the fuck? God damn it. Okay, here we go. Phantom Menace. Oh man, it's very awful acting. Just some of the worst dialogue I've ever seen. The kid is awful. We didn't even talk about like this whole thing about him by chance fucking destroying the Federation. He's like on the cockpit.
A lot of
and it's just like-
Phantom Menace was accident.
It
A
was
lot
like,
of
oh,
Phantom
let me
Menace.
just push this
It was
button
the
and push
Force.
this.
Jar Jar Binks,
The
but Jar Jar Binks
Force.
doesn't have the Force, and he also
It's-
had a lot of accidents.
It's so bad. The only thing that saves
Yeah.
it is the lightsaber scene, the pod
with Darth
scene.
Maul. Yep.
Uh,
Darth
so-
Maul. Is what
Darth
saves
Maul.
it.
So D plus for Phantom Menace. I'm sorry.
D plus.
D plus.
As in, D as in Dagobah.
D
Take 'em
plus.
up. Yeah.
Wow.
Attack of the Clones. Seriously, I don't fucking remember this fucking movie. It is so
So you didn't
forgettable.
rewatch
Yeah,
it leading
the
up to
clones
this? You
attack.
didn't do your research?
I'm a moron. I don't do research.
You are a moron. What do you give it? I give it that a C plus.
So my grade for Attack of the Clones is, I want to give it just a solid D. D. Like
D as in like Dagobah.
yes, D. D for Attack of the Clones. D plus for Phantom Menace. All right, going on to Revenge of the Sith. This is the best of the prequel trilogy.
Well,
I think there's a lot of good in this one, actually, despite some of the still bad acting by Hayden Christensen and so on. But I actually think Arturo's right. There's a lot here about that really establishes what Anakin is going through. And I know I was making fun of him and everything like that, but he's right. And because of that,
man.
because of that, and see, I can be. I know that I come off of this like negative asshole who's just like wants to trash movies, but really I'm listening at the same time that I'm making.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give Revenge of the Sith a B- because I think
I already
it's worth
forgot
a
what
B-.
I gave it. What did I give it?
You gave it like a fucking 9.3 or something.
2, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
right.
Arturo. I'm sure it's all heart emojis again or some shit like that.
So the prequel trilogy
Eggplant
is something
emoji.
I hold very dear to my heart. Eggplant emojis is our after hours episode.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Something I hold very dear to my heart. It was the first films I experienced in theaters. They're not perfect though, but they are incredibly entertaining. I feel and it does ultimately give such an excellent picture of the first 6 films and completes that story arc. So for Phantom Menace, I'm giving it the emoji with the eyes and the smile.
You
Which is
committed
just
to this.
second below the hard eyes.
Uh-huh.
Attack of the Clones, same rating, and then Revenge of the Sith, my favorite of the the prequel trilogy. It'd be the hard eyes emoji.
Hard eyes
because
emoji.
This film just
Rewatchability.
means so much. It's the one I watch the most often.
Yeah.
It's the good one.
It's fucking
the one that's
badass.
worth watching.
Yeah,
I think.
definitely.
Yep.
The other 2 are just awful.
Yeah.
There's redeeming qualities, but no, I fucking love the prequel trilogy, and it'll always remind me of that era where I felt like I could go to every fast food restaurant, Carl's, Burger King, McDonald's, and they all had Star Wars Happy Meal toy things. Yes, they all did. I had a Darth Maul watch for the longest time.
Nice.
That didn't work. I wore it past it
Darth
not
Maul is
working.
cool.
Yeah.
He must have been the coolest kid on the block.
Fuck yeah, it was.
All right, guys, we really minced the shit out of these movies.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. It is
1 hour
now,
and
yeah,
20
now we're
minutes or so.
changed.
Man,
yes,
you're still
so
here.
thank you for putting
It's
up with
hard.
us.
It's hard to keep this under an hour. We did it
what's
for the
hard?
original trilogy.
That's what she said.
It's hard, but thank you once again. Please like and subscribe.
Please
You
subscribe
know,
to Patreon
Yeah.
or sign
we're
up.
on
Yes.
Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're
Tell
on
your friends and
YouTube.
family.
Like, talk to us individually. This guy has his own Instagram. I think it's called Arturo
We all have
Arkham.
our own Instagram.
Right? And Arturo Arkham. I'm Sam the Inkblot. This
Arkham
guy's
underscore
just
Arturo.
Ublester Peñalosa, the second.
Uble_Peñalosa.
The second. And
Aren't you the second?
I think the second.
it's not the second? Are you sure?
No, it's Instagram.
And we have the Morons Make Sense Instagram and all that good stuff. And join us on Patreon and watch out for the 3rd episode of our Moron trilogy, which is gonna get into the Disney trilogy.
Ooh.
Yes, which
That
I'm
one
sure
is
is gonna
gonna
be a
be-
lot of great talk. And
It's gonna be
maybe
really interesting.
Philip Ching, this is all for you, you bastard.
You God level Patreon.
You are welcome to be on that episode because I know that's the one you're really waiting for.
That's the one.
That's the one you really asked for.
Yep.
So until then.
Also, there might be a guest appearance from someone else.
Really?
I'm
What?
fucking.
That person might take my seat and then also be me.
What?
Did we
What
talk
the
about
fuck's
this?
going on here? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He's
There's
had
some
too much to
cliffhanger
drink.
shit. This is
Watch
reminding
next
me
time
of
to
Don't
know
Worry.
what he's talking about.
Yeah. Comment, subscribe, all that
Yes,
stuff.
we love
Tell
you
us
guys.
what you
That.
remember. We want to do a horror movie. Tell us in the comments and
This episode
whatnot.
came out after the horror
That's
movie.
right.
That's right. No, it doesn't. No, it's
Yeah,
gonna
it
come
did,
out.
but
It's
they
before
still
that.
have time.
No, that's true. The part 3 comes out after the horror movies.
Yes, exactly.
If there's a horror movie coming up that or just in general that you want us to discuss in an episode coming up,
Let us know.
let us know.
The younglings. Good night.
Good night, you guys.